Welcome to Lesson 3. Hopefully, since the last lesson, you've become more aware of the law of the harvest and are learning to be an expert in seed analysis. Also, I have to ask, how have you been doing on the 2 commitments you made in Lesson 1? To take notes in the things you are learning, and maybe most important, have you shared one concept or idea about laws, arts, and clues with someone else? Did you teach someone else about the law of the harvest, seeds and fruits, and applied it to life? If you haven't, well, then you want to change that going forward. In this lesson, we are going to talk about one of the most important components of your future success, or as the masses of humanity choose, the biggest contributor to their failure, misery, or lives of desperation. Have you ever thought about time? What is it? How can you explain to others what time is? St. Augustine said it like this: "For what is time? Who is able easily and briefly to explain it? Surely we understand well enough when we speak of it. What then is time? If nobody asks me, I know. But if I were desirous to explain it to someone else, plainly I know not." Can you see how St. Augustine struggled with, like most, to be able to explain what time is? We understand, sort of, what we mean when we say time, but what is it really? How do you define time? Benjamin Franklin answered the question, "What is time?" by saying, "To love life is to love time, for time is the stuff that life is made of." Many of management's top leaders simply say that one of the things that make the biggest and most significant differences in the success or failure of people in business, education, sports, and every facet of life is their tender, loving care of time. How you spend your time will make the difference between success and failure, happiness and sadness, and having a self-reliant life. Time is a gift from heaven. Scriptures say, "This life is the time to prepare to meet God." It is a gift which must be used properly in order to progress and develop. Now, let's look at another law or 2. We will consider how to develop the art associated with the laws so we can learn how to apply those laws. First, the law of the clock. Time passes constantly, consistently, and absolutely. Think of it. It quietly passes 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, and 1 day at a time. See? It just quietly passes. Seconds pass. Soon it will be a minute, and before we are through with this lesson, 10 or so minutes will have passed. You cannot stop it, and you cannot freeze it. And really, if you think about it, you can't do like many people say when they say they want to save it. It can't be done. Time passes constantly, consistently, and absolutely. Time passes. It doesn't have feelings. It doesn't care. It just simply and constantly passes. Does that make sense? Second, the law of opportunity. Life produces more to do than time to do it. There are thousands of ways we can use or spend our time, or like Benjamin Franklin said, the stuff that life is made of. We can sleep, play video games, or watch TV, to name a few. Or we can take a course, read, visit friends, go to church, seek work, and the list goes on and on. Thousands of things to occupy our time. Remember, the difference between success and failure in about anything is based on how you use your time. Now, let's look at the art of the learnable skill of applying these 2 laws. The law of the clock and the law of opportunity. The art of discretion. The art of discretion is developing the skill of seeing what of the many options we have to fill our time, which ones will bring value to our lives. We can learn that the 4 hours we use to play a video game could have been spent in reading something or taking a class to improve a skill. We can see that any time we use past 7 to 8 hours per day to sleep is traded for something of greater value, which could have helped us become more successful or help to lift another person. Discretion, or the ability to see value in the seconds, minutes, hours, and days of our lives. With this discretion, We have the ability to see value in the seconds, minutes, hours, and days of our lives. One other idea to remember: time is a great equalizer. There are 3 main assets each person in the world has to create their future: money, intelligence, and time. One person may have more intelligence than another. Another person may have more money or assets than another. But there is one thing that equalizes us all: time. How we use the asset of time can over time equalize us. All of humanity has 24 hours per day, no more, no less. How we use the assets of time puts us more on an equal basis and is the thing we can use to change our economic situation or improve the level of our intelligence. Does that make sense? If you feel like you have less money than your friend, you can make up the difference in how you use your time to prepare yourself to earn more money. If you feel like someone else is smarter than you can use your time to make up the difference by using your time to learn and grow in your knowledge. Consider this true story from someone who lives in a city just like yours. There are many stories like this one. Nadia, age 24, lived 2 kilometers outside of the city. She was responsible to care for aging parents. She did cleaning jobs to sustain herself and parents. Things were always difficult. Having enough money to provide food and pay for basic needs was challenging. She decided one day if she was ever going to have more opportunity to make their lives better, she had to find a way to invest time into herself by improving her skills. She learned of an opportunity to study graphic design in a Lifting Generations Center. The cost of tuition was waived, instead giving service provided to a local orphanage. She would have to walk to the school instead of riding a bus because there was a lack of money for bus tickets. For 4 months, she walked to and from the city to attend classes, still worked cleaning for her local clients, and provided service at the orphanage. It was hard. She got up early and went to bed late. However, that investment of time into herself, graphic design skills, provided her first with an internship opportunity at a local business making signs and banners. Her internship then turned into a full-time job. Her income tripled immediately. She then determined that additional investment into herself could help her even more. She enrolled in an additional course at the local university. With her income, she could now afford transportation to and from the city. Now, Nadia provides well for her family with her full-time job. She has added skills to her capability and value as an employee, and she now has savings. Her skills are improving each day she works. Her self-confidence is increasing. The time she invested into improving herself has changed everything for her. What will your story be? You can never forget, time passes constantly, consistently, and absolutely. Life produces more to do than time to do it. How you master the art of seeing what of the many options you have to fill your time, which ones will bring value to your life, are key to how your story is created. Ask yourself, will my story be a happy one or eventually have a sad ending? How you use your time will make all the difference. Remember, take notes and teach one idea or concept to another person before we start the next lesson. Use your time wisely and make it a great day.